Coming up today, we're going to harvest some of our beets, and we found a surprise in our beet bed. Find out what it is. And we'll talk about what if you have trees in your garden that you're wanting to keep, what do you do with them? Do you take them out now or wait until it gets cold? All that and more coming up today on the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener. Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener is sponsored in part by, for all your non-GMO, organic and heirloom vegetable, flowers, and herb seeds, visit dollarseed.com. Sioux Growing Supply, located in Wausau, Wisconsin, focusing on certified leaf compost, an excellent amendment for poor soil, retains moisture and adds nutrients, which equals less watering. Available in labor saver pre-filled trays and pots, bag and bulk. Visit SiouxCompost.com. Organic fertilizer for the health-conscious organic home gardener. Family owned and operated. Visit thewiveggardeners.com. Don't poison your soil with municipal water. Attach a body, mind, and soil hose filter. Free shipping exclusively through the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com. Just click on the body, mind, and soil icon. Authentic Haven brand soil conditioner for the home gardener. Easy to brew. Visit ManureTea.com. No measuring, no thinking. Stamp it, plant it, stop plotting, start planting. GardenStamp.com. Welcome to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener. I'm Joy Baird. We're harvesting beets today, and the beets take about 67 to 75 days. Some varieties take longer. Now we've got a number of different sizes in this bed. We've got golden beets and Detroit red beets, and I think we've got a couple of Chahage beets, which is kind of like the candy cane striped beets, and we also have some in the front yard. So we do have a unique situation here. We've got two beets. It appears that this one is a Detroit red beet, Detroit dark red beet. This one here is a golden beet. And this is seed pods. Now, for whatever reason, these two produce seed pods. Now, typically beets are a biennial, which means they'll put on the bulb growth this year. Then you let them be, and then they'll grow again next year, and that's when you get your seed pod head on it. So we're going to let those two go and see what kind of beet seeds we can capture from that. That's a unique thing that we don't see very often because we don't allow the plants to go stay over winter and then produce seeds the next year. So basically I'm just going to start at one end, and you can choose what size beets that you want to leave in the ground and which ones you want to harvest. Now obviously that's about the size of a golf ball or so. We're going to harvest everything because it's been long enough that they're pretty much going to be as big as they're going to get. Now that's a couple of different factors based on soil nutrients, the temperature, how old the seeds may be, type of thing. So we're just going to go through and harvest. So we've got some very large ones and some not so large ones. Now these beet greens are edible. You can eat them. You know, it just tastes like a normal green. The stems, not so much. They're very earthy flavors. So we're just going to harvest, and you can see here the importance of thinning beets out because you've got two that's grown side by side, and which has hampered the growth of both of them because of that. So we're going to harvest those. And like I said, we do have some, there's a nice one here I'm going to harvest. That's a nice Detroit beet right there. That's a good size. That may be no, that's a Detroit red beet. That's a good size there. And here is a really nice golden beet. Now that's the size of a baseball. Now ideally every gardener would like to have 300 of them that size, but you don't always get what you wish for. So I'm going to go through and harvest these, and we'll see what we have, and we'll talk about the different options you have on what to do with the beets that you harvested or the beets that you've purchased from your local organic store or farmer's market this time of year. So you can grow beets in the ground as well as grow them in a container. This is our makeshift container here, and we've got a number of different beets that are a multitude of different sizes right now. Now we're not going to harvest these right away. We're going to let these grow until one, it maybe gets too cold, or two, when they reach large enough to where they are they're hurting the growth of the other ones. So we've got a number of different sizes here of golden beets, Chiaga beets, Detroit red beets, some very large ones, some not so large ones, you know, some tiny ones. So a variety of different ones. Now, there's a multitude of different things you can do with these beets. One, you can simply pickle them in your water bath canner. That's a traditional way. You can also make refrigerated beet pickles. That's something you don't have to have a water bath canner for, but you do need like a mason jar, and those will keep for about 3 months if they last that long in the fridge. Now, if you don't like pickled beets, because I know some people don't, you can simply just take and cut them very thinly, and you can eat them raw if you're a raw vegan. You can also go about and roasting them in the oven or on the grill and having roasted beets that way. But it's a vegetable that we truly enjoy, and we like it in the pickle form. In the canner, in the water bath canner. Now you can also ferment these as well, and that's another way to preserve the harvest. Now you can, let's say you have, like we have here, we've got a number of different beets, but we're waiting for these beets over here to get larger. What we can do is, one, if we want to save the greens, we can cut the greens off and then cut it about 1 inch above the bulb. Put it in an airtight sealable bag, put it in your crisper in the fridge. They'll keep for 2, 3, 4 weeks until you can gather up enough, whether you're going to the farmer's market or the local organic grocery store, until you get enough to make it worthwhile pickling or eating them, or however you're going to prepare them. So this is one of the better harvests that we have had on beets. We're going to let the 2 that's in the garden go and see how many seed pods we can gather off of them, and we can go ahead and plant some more next year. As you begin to feel the chill in the air, you can still get some fall container planting in. One of the great plants that you can put in a container or in the ground is Bok Choy. Bok Choy is a Chinese green, and it will take about 30 to 50 days. 30 days if you want baby bok choy, 50 days if you want the actual tall, mature plant. You can do this in the ground, or you can do it in a container like we have here. We've got some certified leaf compost from Sue's, and we are just going to, whoa, we got too many seeds come out. We're just going to plant about 8 or so seeds here, and we're going to space them about 6 inches, because you've always got to, even in a container, you've got to remember that the end result, what that end result is going to be. So basically, I'm going to do this in, I'm going to change my mind, I'm going to do this in quadrants of 4 here. This side here, I'm going to plant very thick for baby bok choy. Over here, I'll plant heavier for mature bok choy, which that would indicate I'm going to do 2 plants for the heavy, and then drop there. Obviously, we'll thin this out if we have multiple seeds per hole. Down here, the heavier portions, I'm going to do 4 per quadrant. And that's going to be approximately, you're looking at 6 by 6. So this is about a 1 foot square container here. So that's pretty much what it takes. And you can also do a multitude of other plants in a container for fall. The nice thing about the container portion of it, obviously these plants will sustain a light frost. Lettuce, radishes, bok choy, a number of other quick growing fall vegetables. But if it gets below and it's going to freeze, you can literally take this container inside and keep it at least moderately, if you throw it in the basement for the night or wherever you have it, so it doesn't freeze, and then take it back outside if you're going to get a very quick cold snap as fall begins to approach. So bok choy, baby bok choy, 30 days, mature bok choy, 50 days, and you can do it all in a container.
There's some simple tools that you would need to make your canning job easier. You can buy a canning toolkit that you can find online, and that includes a jar funnel, which makes it easier to put everything in the jars. A magnet wand, which is easy so you can get the lids out of the hot water. This is a headspace measure plus a plastic spatula. On the top, there's different measurements for headspace, and then you can use this to remove the air bubbles. You can use this end to remove the air bubbles from your jar. There's a jar lifter, which is nice to get the jars out of the canner. So that's simple items. You want a nice chef knife. A good cutting board is also nice too. We got ours from ourdailySalt.com. Then you need some canning lids, which you can get the wide mouth or the regular variety, and then obviously you get some rings. We have this nice box here that we made for our canning lids and for our pectin so that we can have them easy and ready. Sometimes you might need what's called a candy thermometer, which is good for knowing what temperature your water or whatever you're cooking is at. And then also some twine or kitchen string is good to have too, especially if you have to tie up some cheesecloth or some like little spice sachets. So these are some simple tools that you can use to make your life easier when doing home canning.
So we've run into a little situation that we've noticed beginning to emerge from our garden. We've got black walnut trees in a couple of different areas of our garden. There's one here, there, 3, 4, 5, there's about 6 in this little area right here, and then there's a couple down on the other end. Now, we're not really sure where they came from, but we have an idea. The neighbor a couple of years ago had some walnut trees in the corner of their yard, and they took them out. Well, walnut trees, along with other trees, seeds, and with the walnut nut, it can sit dormant in the ground for upwards of several years. So they begin to emerge for whatever reason now. We have worked the soil for 4 years now and stirred it up, so for whatever reason they've come up. So what do you want to do? We obviously want to keep the walnut trees. Now, one thing you want to keep aware about the walnut tree, at least this particular variety, the black walnut, is it can cause your soil to be very acidic, which can hamper the growth of certain plants. That'd be most of your vegetables. But that's only whenever the plant begins to reach maturity. Now, these plants will take upwards of 10 years to get to that mature state where they will produce nuts on a yearly basis. So we don't want to extract them out of the garden now because they're still very green and they got a lot of foliage on them. So you want to wait until they begin to drop their leaves. Or if you find this, or if you don't have time in the fall to do this, you can also do it in the spring prior to them budding out, but right after the ground thaws. So if we're going to wait until these trees drop their leaves, we need to identify them in some way so we just don't think that they're just a stick in the ground. So we're going to take some our baling twine that we use on our trellises. You can take yarn or whatever marker. So you can identify by marking it in some form or fashion by putting a flag beside it. We're going to take some orange twine that we use in our trellis making application, and we're going to take and wrap it around the trunk of the tree, just so when the leaves do drop, we can identify it as the tree that we're wanting to save. And we're not certain what we're going to do with these or where we're going to put them, but we just don't want to let them be and kill them off, because the trees are a very vital role in every aspect of the environment. So I'll go ahead and mark the other ones, but you want to wait until they drop their leaves, or in the spring as soon as the ground thaws, and before they start budding out. And this can be done for any type of tree that you find in your garden that you're wanting to save. Thanks for watching. Join us again next time for more organic gardening and food preservation, and even some tree care. I'm Joy Baird, and this has been the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener.
For more information, please visit thewwisconsinvegetablegardener.com.